Welcome to our MX Management Center tutorial. This instructional video is about using the new, free-of-charge software and how to optimally work with all of its features. We have set up an exemplary project as a real security application. After installing the software and launching it for the first time, the welcome page opens. We can use Open Project to load an existing project file from any location. We will select our company configuration project file. You can download our demo project from our website to emulate the examples. Once the project is loaded, we see the live image from one of the project's cameras. We can see a question mark symbol in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. It can be used to display the Quick Help window. The Quick Help window provides information about how each individual control works. Clicking on a Quick Help opens a window with detailed information. The program also displays tooltips when the mouse hovers over a button. You can also download the PDF manual from the MOBOTIX website. Before we begin to operate the program, we should say a word about the general operating concept. We differentiate between single clicks, double clicks, long clicks, and right clicks for operation. Double clicks are only used to switch between full screen mode. In most cases, single clicks or long clicks are used for operation. Right clicks are generally only used for program configuration and are not relevant for operators. In addition to clicks, drag and drop is also a key operating concept. The simple press drag and drop is a central element used for both configuration and operation. Intuitive dragging and dropping in most cases leads to the desired effect. You can open the camera bar by tapping the film strip at the top of the image. All of the cameras that were integrated into the project are visible here. It is possible to drag the camera bar to enlarge it so that the camera reference images are displayed in 2 rows. Double-clicking on the 3 small lines in the middle of the strip opens up the camera bar in full screen mode. If there are more cameras in the list that can be displayed simultaneously, you can swipe to move content to the left or right. One multifunctional slider is located at the bottom of the bar. This allows us to select the parameters according to how the cameras are sorted. It is possible to sort by group, by name, or by IP address. If we tap the film strip at the top of the image again, the bar switches from the camera bar to the group bar. So what's the point of groups in a video management system? The idea here is to gain a better overview by summarizing the structures. For example, parking lot, headquarters, or production. Each group only contains the cameras that belong to its area. Tapping the upper bar again switches back to the camera bar. We can tap a camera to display its live image in the main window. We differentiate between views of groups and cameras in MX Management Center. There is a grid view, the graphic view, and the info view, which we will navigate now. We access a grid view by using the mouse to point to a group and then clicking the grid symbol that is now displayed. We can access the graphic view in the same way, just by tapping the layout symbol. The third symbol is the eye symbol, which switches to the info view. If we go back to the camera bar, we can also switch to views using the symbols displayed, the live view, the player view, and the research view of the camera. It is possible to navigate between the views using the Select View button. Long click this button to open the shortcut menu, where we can also select the view we want. You may have wondered why the symbol on this button can change dynamically. The idea is that the program suggests a view for you that corresponds to the view currently selected. If, for example, we are using the graphic view, the button suggests the grid view. We can make the switch simply by tapping the button. The forward-backward buttons are located just to the left. We can use them to switch to the previous view, like with a browser. The button at the very far left navigates to the home view, which users can define independently. In our example, the home view is the grid view of the parking lot. Let's save that. Now if we select another view and another group, The Home button will return us to the grid view of the parking lot group. It is also possible to set the Home view as the default screen when you launch the program. We can see this in full screen in MxMC with a single click in the image. Another single click returns us to the previous view. A double click may have a different effect depending on the hardware. If there are two monitors connected to the PC, the image is displayed in full screen mode on the second monitor. If only one monitor is connected, the image is displayed on the monitor in full screen mode. If there are 3 or more screens, a dialog opens and we can select where to display the full screen. Now we want to concentrate on the grid view. The grid view can feature a focus window framed in yellow. We can drag cameras from our group or from the camera bar. More multifunctional sliders with additional functions are displayed when we hover over the focus window with the mouse. We can use the plus slider to control the zoom. MOBOTIX systems enable the use of 2 zoom options. It is possible to zoom into the image the camera supplies at a later point in time and zoom into the camera itself. The first option is called application zoom and has the advantage that each user can set up his or her own camera view without adjusting it for other viewers. The advantage of the second direct zoom option is that the camera pre-processes the image and only transmits the relevant image section to save bandwidth. Dragging the plus slider to the right increases the zoom level as the application zoom. In other words, this means we use our program to zoom into the image coming from the camera. We can achieve the same effect by rotating the mouse wheel. However, if we want the camera to zoom, delivering either a high-resolution image section or with a real zoom lens, we have to press and hold the plus slider until it flashes. If we change its position or turn the mouse wheel, the camera then sends the image with a higher zoom level. If there is a pan tilt head, it is controlled either using the virtual joystick at the top right of the image by using the mouse to drag into the image or using a real joystick. We can end the camera zoom function using a long click on the zoom slider. The slider featuring the circle symbol is responsible for distortion correction. Distortion correction is only needed in the case of hemispheric cameras set up in such a way that they supply a full image. MxMC can thereby convert the image into a corrected image, square, panoramic image, rectangle, surround image, double panoramic image, or panorama focus. Using the last option allows us to adjust distortion correction. In other words, we use the joystick to control where we want to avoid inflections in the image. Command buttons for functions of the current camera remain displayed in the focus window at the bottom of the image. The telephone receiver is used to listen and speak. The other buttons switch on the light, open the door, and measure the temperature. There are also additional command buttons at the bottom of the image in the program. These buttons are permanently assigned to different cameras, regardless of which camera is currently displayed in the focus window. They enable typical basic functions such as opening gates or switching on outdoor lights. Each function button can be assigned to multiple cameras. For example, we can click on the light button to simultaneously turn on the lights for several cameras. There is also a button here that can enable and configure sequence mode. If enabled, the focus window switches sequentially between the cameras in this group. You can take a snapshot of all the cameras using this button. There may be other buttons if the system integrator configured additional functions. Let's now switch to the graphic view and the options we have here. First of all, we have camera symbols that we can hover over with the mouse. A small window with the camera's live image opens when the mouse hovers over a symbol. If we want to include this image in our view in the long term, we can drag it by holding the mouse button and drop it into the graphic. It is also possible to change the size and position. We can click the X to remove the window. In some cases, multiple cameras are highlighted at a location. Initially, we can only see one camera symbol, but it splits as soon as we hover over it with the mouse. Now we can select the respective camera, and we thereby have the same options as before. In the event that we want to view a live channel of a camera outside the group, we can simply drag the camera from the camera bar into the graphic. These additional live channels are only temporarily available in the view. This means that they are discarded when we switch the view. However, we can use the back button to access the previously modified views again. A graphic view may also feature group buttons. This allows us to navigate to other groups. Our example featured an entrance gate linked with a camera for control. We can now open and close the gate with a command button. We can control the status of the gate in the camera image. MOBOTIX cameras and other MX bus modules may feature temperature sensors. As a result, the temperatures can be displayed in the live view. If the person who set up the system specified temperature limits, the temperature display turns red when the maximum temperature is reached and blue when the minimum temperature is reached. Clicking the temperature display allows us to see development over the past week. Last but not least, the view may also feature door opener buttons. For example, simply tapping the buttons makes it possible to open a door. This symbol also confirms that the door is actually open. The third group view is the info view. In most cases, we are dealing with information pages with no additional functions. However, if the info page is configured as an HTML page, it is possible to navigate using links, for example, to access this page. Hyperlinks direct to the other pages with alarm-specific instructions. We now want to use the camera bar to navigate to the live view. This view offers additional multifunctional sliders for image settings and volume on the left and right of the image. Zoom and distortion correction are once again available at the bottom of the image. We can use the third slider to select saved PTZ positions. Let's now focus our attention on the three additional command buttons displayed at the bottom of the image of the live view of the camera: alarm settings, bell settings, mailbox settings. Clicking the alarm button displays the alarm view of this camera, where we can use the slider to view the corresponding event images. If we click the same button again, MxMC automatically switches to the player view at the time of the event. We can replay this event using the playback buttons. Let's now use the back button to return to the live view and take a closer look at the alarm settings. Right-click or long-click the button to open the shortcut menu. The uppermost entry concerns privacy mode. Let's look at the following example. You installed cameras at your weekend home to capture and record all movements at all times. When you arrive at the house on the weekend, you want to safeguard your privacy and not have the cameras record you or your family. In a case like this, you just need to enable privacy mode and the camera will not perform the selected functions for the next 24 hours. A lock symbol is visible in the camera image when this mode is activated. Next, we can activate notifications, or in other words, visual and audio alarm messaging in MxMC. When notifications are enabled, a pop-up appears and the selected alarm sound plays. The pop-up offers the option to switch between displaying the live image and playing the recording. The small bubble above the alarm button shows the number of alarms since the last reset. You can use this button to reset the counter to 0. Clicking Last Alarm opens the player with the last alarm of the camera. The bell and mailbox functions are provided for the dialog with door stations and are inactive for other camera types. The dialog for bell settings provides the option to activate or deactivate the doorbell and select a ringtone or call profile. If you select the ring and mailbox profile, the remote station rings and a message can be left on the mailbox after a defined period of time. We can also reset the counter or play back the last ringing event. Like with the alarms, tapping the button displays the event images if the bell was pressed, and tapping again allows us to view the corresponding video recording. In the mailbox settings, we can select the mailbox to be requested, deactivate it, or specify whether or not it should be possible to leave a message. We can also select the announcement. Furthermore, it is possible to listen to the last message that was left. Like with the alarm and bell, a single click allows us to view the event images, and by clicking again, we can see the entire message. After looking at the views, we now want to examine the playback options. Let's start by switching to the grid view. In mouse over mode, an SD card symbol is displayed in the grid view channels. If we drag the symbol to the left, we can navigate through the last 25 event images. We can start playing back this event by dragging the button into the image or pressing the play button on the left. We are free to move the play position as we like, meaning we can quickly look for the desired moment in the recording. This instant player is available here in the focus window and in the other channels. Click the image once to show the instant player in full screen. Click again to view the actual size. Clicking this symbol opens a regular player view. The window can be closed by clicking the X. The film strip at the bottom of the image turns red if the camera sounded an alarm. We can tap the film strip to unfold it, just like the film strip at the top of the image. The event bar opens, displaying the event images from all the cameras. You can make it larger or smaller or push it together to close it. Tap this area to close the bar. The red bar at the bottom of every event image shows that this alarm has not been confirmed. We can acknowledge the alarm by clicking the red bar or by long-clicking Confirm. Click Confirm All to simultaneously acknowledge all alarms. Tap the event image itself to view it in full screen. Tap again to return to the previous view. We can access the current live view of this camera simply by dragging the event image into the focus or live image. Additional symbols are displayed here also when we move over the event image with the mouse. The playback symbol in the middle launches the instant player, which we are already familiar with from earlier in the tutorial. If we want to see the playback in a larger format, we can do so simply by clicking one more time. The multifunctional slider on the left side of the event bar allows us to specify the cameras from which alarm images appear in the bar. This can be all cameras, one camera, or cameras from a specific group. Simply drag the relevant group to the event bar and you will then only see alarm images from this camera. The second multifunctional slider is used to filter according to event type. The SD card means all alarms. This symbol means activity sensor only, and this one means video motion sensor. Refer to the MxMC user manual for an overview of which symbols are used for which filters. If we want live information on the current situation in a group of cameras, we can simply tap the grid symbol displayed. If the relevant camera was part of a group, the grid view of this group opens. If it belongs to several groups, a message appears asking us to select the relevant group. The third button displayed allows us to switch to player view, which we can also access using the navigation dialog or the camera bar. If we access player view this way, it starts at the time of the selected event. We can play back this event using the play forward-backward buttons. The jog shuttle button allows us to change the speed. We can play the frame forwards or backwards using these buttons. If we now want to jump to another time in the video, we can use the calendar page symbol. The corresponding time is displayed in the event of movement. If we just go on, the software searches for the event closest in time. We can also jump to a specific time by entering the time we are looking for in the time field. It is possible to adjust the time range for the calendar page symbol by clicking and holding the symbol. The slider then covers the selected time range. There are various different modes available for playback. If we want to play all recordings one after another, we have to select entire recordings. Only the current event is played back with event recordings. There are also corresponding options available for frame playback of event images only or the pre-alarm images and highlighted images. Playback in time-lapse mode is also possible here. It may be useful for research to highlight specific events in order to easily find them again. You can do so by using the small flag symbol. You can then provide the highlighted events with additional information. For example, we can add the car type here. We can filter according to this term later on, allowing us to quickly and conveniently access the search result. For example, if we want to see all of the Volkswagen Golfs that pass the street in the morning. If a specific time range is to be exported for the playback, the time range first needs to be specified. To do so, we navigate to the beginning of the sequence and tap the small flag on the left, which marks the beginning. We then navigate to the end of the desired time range and tap the small flag on the right to mark the end. Once this has been specified, the two small flags turn green and the export dialog can be opened. The beginning and the end of the export is shown again here, and it is possible to select the specific export options. We need to select MOBOTIX to get an option with the MXPEG code MXG file. All we need in the next dialog is the file name and storage location, and with that, the export starts. We can select the automatically import after export option in this dialog. Afterwards, this recording, like a camera, is available as a video source in the camera bar. An alternative option is to drag the exported file from the File Explorer and drop it into the live view. This puts the recording in the camera bar, and we can select it to play it. In many cases, only a single image is required for evidential purposes. To export the image, it is necessary to press the snapshot button. The corresponding image is thereby stored in the computer's image directory. Let's now look at the pin button at the bottom right corner of the image. We can use the pin to set a point in time. For example, if an event occurred in the parking lot at this exact time and we want to view it from a different angle. To do so, we can use the pin to specify the time and then simply drag the respective cameras from the camera bar into the player. This allows us to view the recording of this camera at the same time. If we want to see what all the cameras in the parking lot group saw at the same time, all we have to do is drag the group from the group bar. This changes the view from the player to the grid player, where we can play back several cameras at the same time. We can also select the grid player by selecting a group and navigating to the grid player view. It enables us to simultaneously play back all of the cameras in the group synchronously. Operation is similar to the normal player. In addition, it is possible to drag cameras from the camera bar into the focus window of the grid player view and play them also. During export, the recordings of all the cameras in this group are stored simultaneously in a directory to be defined. The research view offers another option for research. All of the events of cameras or entire groups are displayed here in chronological order. We can launch the instant player, switch live to the group, or play back the event in the player in each event image. It is possible to change the size of the event images using the slider. We can also filter according to specific events or only display marked events. If the system is installed on a notebook and you want to connect to the cameras from different locations, it is possible to use environments to conveniently switch your settings. You can access this setting by folding the camera bar and tapping the cog wheel symbol. Our example has two environments, Office and Home Office. You select the Office environment when you're in the office and the Home Office environment when you're at home. The relevant background settings are specified by the system integrator. In the Home Office environment, it may be the case that you only have a low internet speed at home. As a result, it makes sense to reduce the bandwidth, which reduces the resolution and frame rate of the cameras. Pressing the symbol changes the program's pre-settings in high bandwidth, high res, low bandwidth, low res, or sound only. If you still want to see an image from the camera for sound only, you can do so by pressing this button. As with the MOBOTIX app, the low res setting activates an exclusive MOBOTIX function. By actively zooming in the image, for this portion only, a higher resolution is actually displayed. Thank you very much for your attention.